Hello, my name is Carolyn Baylor, and I'm a speech language pathologist at the University of Washington in Seattle, Washington. And I would like to visit with you today about communication changes associated with head and neck cancer. This video is going to be for those of you who may be experiencing changes in your speech or your voice associated with head and neck cancer, and we will do some additional videos for those of you experiencing other symptoms, as well as for your friends and family. In this set of tips, I would really like to focus on the topic of staying connected with people in your life when speaking is difficult for you. So this short presentation will not focus quite so much on some of the technical changes in speech and voice after experiencing head and neck cancer, but more on strategies for living day-to-day life and staying connected with other people. There can be a very wide range of ways that head and neck cancer can impact somebody's speech or voice. Some people may experience very little or no change, or changes might be temporary, and over time you might return to the manner of speaking that you have always had. On the other hand, some people may experience very significant and or very permanent changes in the way they talk. These changes can come about for a variety of reasons. They may be related to surgery that you have had throughout the head or neck region. They could be related to changes due to radiation, such as dry mouth, pain or stiffness. Also, many people simply experience a lot of fatigue associated with cancer and its treatment and the impact that it has on your life. All of these can affect your speech or your voice in various ways. Now, when we talk about communication and staying connected with people in your lives, we need to remember that any conversation is really a balancing act between what we call communication partners, or the people who are involved in that conversation together. So when you may be experiencing changes in your speech or voice due to head and neck cancer, you may feel that at times it's hard for you to hold up your end of the conversation. No matter whether that's because your speech sounds differently, you are just really tired out, or what the impact may be. At the same time, the people you are communicating with in your life may be experiencing some of their own challenges with communication. Many people struggle with hearing loss. Many people may have speech or language challenges due to their own medical concerns. And many people in your life may also be experiencing fatigue, stress, and other experiences that they have. And that might make them be a little tired or distracted in conversations as well. So how can we help you keep conversations in balance with your loved ones so you can really stay connected during this really important time in your life? I'd like to give you a few tips. Tip number one, be sure to communicate clearly with your family and close friends about how they best can communicate with you. So sometimes we find the people who are experiencing head and neck cancer are really reluctant to talk about the experiences the changes they are experiencing in their speech and voice. They are reluctant to talk about that with their family and friends. And often people with head and neck cancer will say, well, I don't want to burden my family with more stress or more information. They are already doing so much to help me. I just don't want to burden them more. But you know what? Your friends and your family probably do not know automatically what to do to help you. They may really want to stay connected with you and to interact with you, but they know your speech and voice has changed and they don't know what to do. For example, if they see you struggling to communicate, should they jump in and finish your sentence for you? Or would you rather have them just wait and let you get through it, even though it may be a difficult sentence to get through? If they're not understanding what you're saying, you probably want them to tell you that, but they need to know that that's okay to say that so that they're not insulting you. They're probably really, really worried about offending you or hurting your feelings if they say something about your communication or not being able to understand you. And you can help them with that by letting them know, hey, Tell me when you don't understand me. Let me know where things went wrong. Let them know when you need extra time for conversation, if they are rushing you, or if you really need to keep conversations short because you are feeling tired. Let them know that. Let them know that you value your time with them. It's not that you don't want to talk to them, but you're just really tired and need to keep conversations short. And that will help avoid you offending them if they feel offended that, hey, this person doesn't really like to talk with me all that much anymore. Be clear with them and say, I really enjoy keeping in touch with you. I just need to keep conversations short because it's so hard to talk. Or let them know if there's a different way that you might communicate better. Instead of a face to face conversation or a phone conversation, which could be really tough, maybe say, look, I'd really like to keep in touch, but can we text instead of talk on the phone so much, or maybe email because it's just better for me. The bottom line is let people know what you want and what you need with your speech and your communication because other people may not automatically know. And in an effort to be helpful, they might be saying or doing the wrong things. They just don't know. Tip number 2, give people time to adjust to the new ways of communicating. First and foremost, that means yourself. If you are needing to communicate in new and different ways, maybe you have had a laryngectomy and you are starting to learn an alaryngeal form of speech, electrolarynx, tracheoesophageal puncture. Maybe you are having to use your phone, maybe more speech generation from your phone or texting instead of speaking. It takes a while to get these new rhythms down. And so you need to have time to adjust. Your family and friends also need some time to adjust as well. The key here is that communication is a shared responsibility. The burden is not entirely on you. Again, asking your family and friends to change what they are doing and giving them time to get into new routines as well is really important. Think about how you can make small changes in your daily communication habits so the communication is easier for you and that people can understand you better. For example, maybe you are used to having conversations with your family members, calling from one room in the house to another, and now people can't understand you across that distance. Or maybe you are used to having conversations with a TV or radio on in the background, and people can't understand you any longer over that noise. You need to get rid of background noise, get face to face with people, really sit down together to have these conversations where you can focus on each other without distractions. Another big issue here is meal times. It can be really, really hard to have a conversation at mealtime while you're also focusing on chewing and swallowing food safely. So meal times may not be the good social connection time that they used to be. Again, tell family that. So come up with different ways to have conversations and kind of agree on some rules. For example, if face-to-face conversations are what you need because you can't call out from one room to the other, you've got to then talk about who's going to whom to have the conversation. Is it fair that you always go to them? If they're the ones that have a question for you, do they need to come to you? You may not be feeling very energetic to get up and out of your chair and move around the house a lot. Maybe you agree to just wait to have conversations at certain times of the day unless you just have an immediate need. So again, come up with a plan with your family that works with you in your setting and the way your family functions. Recognize that communication can be a roller coaster, mainly because speech and your other symptoms can vary throughout the day. There may be some times of day that you feel really comfortable and energetic and able to have a conversation, and there may be other times of day that your communication just shuts down. It's too hard. It's too painful. You are just too tired. Let family know that so that when you are in kind of one of these lows where it's really difficult for you to communicate, and maybe you need to kind of shut down for a while to conserve some energy, you are not offending your family or friends by them thinking that you don't want to interact with them. Let them know end of day is really a tough time. It would be better for us to have our conversations at another time. Or I know we've started this conversation, but all of a sudden, I'm really starting to feel the fatigue setting in. Can we finish up quickly or get to a stopping point and pick this up later? And then go rest. When you're having difficulty functioning, take the time to go take a nap, get some sleep, really rest your body so you can come back to that conversation better at another time. And when you need to have really important or lengthy conversations, schedule them ahead of time with family so that they know that they're going to have that time with you, but it's going to be at a time that you can be really functional and on point with your communication. Tip 5 is for all of us. We all need to get our hearing checked. Hearing, especially as we start to get a little bit older, will change gradually. Sometimes we're not aware of how much it's changed. And a lot of the difficult dynamics that we have is when one of us in the conversation is having trouble speaking and the other person in the conversation is having trouble hearing. And so getting your hearing checked to help the whole dynamic can be very helpful. Your healthcare provider should be able to refer you to an audiologist who can provide hearing evaluation and some counseling regarding options available to you. Give yourself and your loved ones some grace. These communication disruptions can be really challenging. It can make life so different than it used to be. So often people with head and neck cancer will say, well, I really don't want to impose on my family and friends. I really don't want to disrupt the natural flow of conversations. And so we tend to kind of pull back and kind of retreat from interactions. But your family and your friends really want you to be part of their lives, which means part of their conversations. And so we all need to be graceful and patient with each other and give everybody time to adjust. And give everybody credit that we are doing the best that we can to keep in touch with each other and navigate these new situations. Remember that your speech language pathologist can help. Hopefully you have been referred to a speech language pathologist who can help you navigate these situations. And if you have not been, your otolaryngologist or your primary care provider can refer you to a speech language pathologist in your community who is knowledgeable about head and neck cancer. The American Speech Language Hearing Association also has resources available for the public to learn more about head and neck cancer and the impact on communication. I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with me, visiting a little bit about some of the ways that head and neck cancer can impact your interactions with other people. And although these tips are not fancy or glamorous, I hope that they will encourage you to talk with the loved ones in your life and explore some simple ways that you can change what you are doing to hopefully make communication easier, more successful, and more satisfying for you. Thank you and very good luck.